Hello. This is your first lesson um, done through Edpuzzle, and we are going to switch packets. So you need to have out your angle packet with the table of all the terms in front, and it says Chapter 3 Angles. So this one right here, and you are going to turn to the second page. Lesson 1, Complementary and Supplementary Angles. First part of this is going to be a lot of note taking. We have to go over some definitions. Okay, so you're just going to follow along, complete the notes as I complete them. Pause the video as necessary. Okay, the first term we are going to look at is adjacent angles. Okay, so two angles are adjacent if they share a common side. Okay, the sum measure of two adjacent angles are equal to the measure of the combined angles. So let's look at this angle over here. We have the first angle, which is going to be A right here, and that's formed by point B, point A, and point C. Point A being vertex. So BAC. We have this second angle here, the small angle B, which is formed by the points C, A, and D. And that's going to be it's going to be equal when we add those measures together to the larger angle BAD. So A plus the measure of B is equal to the measure of C. Now it's not a Z, that should be an equal sign. Okay, you can pause and copy these if you need to. We're going to move on to vertical angles. Okay, when two lines cross, any two opposite angles formed by these lines are congruent angles. Vertical angles have equal measure. So when we have two lines cross, we actually get two sets of opposite angles. And I'm just going to add those in here. I'm going to call this angle C. And this one here is D. Okay? So over here, we're going to name the angles, though. So this angle A right here is formed by the point D, the vertex C, F. So DCF is equal to the opposite over here, which is B. We're going to name that GCE. I want you to notice that that C is going to be in the center of every single time I name an angle. The vertex is always the middle letter. Okay, let's look at that other set of angles. So we've got C, which is ECF. And then we have D up here. This is opposite, which is GCD. So what we have here is the measure of A is equal to the measure of B. The measure of C is equal to the measure of D. All right, you can pause if you need to. I'm going to move to angles on a line. Okay, if the vertex or the end point of a ray, so this ray we're talking about is BC, lies on a line but the ray is not contained in the line, then the sum of the measurements of the two angled form is 180 degrees. Okay, so again, we're going to name these angles A, B, C. That's angle A here. And angle B is CBD. At this point, you have to erase this little angle thing, cross it out, because that's equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so angle A plus the measure of angle B is equal to 180 degrees. So also notice you're forming a straight line here, which a lot of you have figured out already, that if you see two angles like this whole thing is 180 degrees. All right, angles on a point. Again, you can pause if you need to. The last one on this page is angles on a point. 3 or more rays. So we have ray AB, AD, and AC. And they all meet their endpoint here at a point with the same vertex. Separate the plane into angles with disjointed interiors. So we have all these angles. Disjointed means they're separated. They're all adjacent though. But it's important that they're all adjacent because we can see that we have a circle here now. Okay? And the measurement of a circle is 360 degrees. Okay? So when we add all of these together, so let's start with angle A, which is BAD. Angle B is BAC. And angle C is CAD. And again, you're going to have to erase this little angle symbol. When you add those together, it's 360 degrees. And you're going to see problems like this. So A, the measure of A, plus the measure of B, plus the measure of C is equal to 360. Okay. All right, you can pause if you need to catch up on notes. All right, we're going to go to complementary angles, which is really important. You see this little guy here, that box is equal to 90 degrees. You've seen that a lot. We haven't really covered it, but that's what that means. So the definition is either of two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Very important. They can be adjacent, but they do not have to be adjacent. So it may just be stated that two angles are complementary. And you have to understand that that's 90 degrees. So may or may not be adjacent. Okay. Again, you can pause if you need to. We're going to cross this out. I don't even know what that was supposed to be. Now we're going on to supplementary. So as you can see, supplementary, if they are adjacent, they will form a straight line. And you know that to be true, that a line is 180 degrees. Okay, so supplementary is either of two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Again, these may or may not be adjacent. Okay, and that is going to be the end of this first video for lesson 1. The next video that you will see will be the practice. You can work ahead if you would like to on the 3 exercises and then come back to watch that video to correct, or you may wait for that video to be released and you can do those problems along with me. There's the bell.